Hi, everybody, and welcome to The Word Works with Jeff and Jessica Heilman. I'm Jessica Heilman.
And I'm Jeff Heilman.
And we're so happy to have Jeff back today. Yay! I managed to get through last week, but
I got off early tonight,
but
10 o'clock.
It wasn't as good. It's never as good as when you're with me.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyways, okay. So we're going to pull from the topic box and we're going to go ahead and get started right away because we only have 10 minutes to share with you all the wisdom that we know, which it's good for me.
Topic based.
That's right. Okay, honey, you pick today.
Okay, let me see. I feel like I'm at bingo.
Word bingo. Word bingo. Proverbs 7:5. No, I'm kidding.
Service. Proverbs 31:12.
Ooh, service.
You have Proverbs 31:12.
Service. You know, what's funny is I've been writing it. I've been doing the book, and I just got done writing on service.
Right.
So why don't you talk a little bit about service while I find the scripture?
Well, one of the things that Jessica and I talk about quite a bit is an attitude of service toward others. And I remember sitting down with Bob Coomer one time and asking him, because he had just gotten done talking for about a 2.5, 3 hour talk. And one of the things that he mentioned a bunch is praying to God for God to give us a servant's heart. And service to me really is desiring to benefit somebody else, even when it is going to cost you maybe more than you'd ordinarily want to give. And so, as an example, one of the things that Jessica really appreciates for me is when I go out of my way to do the dishes, especially with 5 kids and the large number of dishes that we have. So one of the things that I did this weekend was Saturday and Sunday both, and I enlisted some help from Jeffrey and Joseph, our 2 older boys, but got in there and cleaned, 100, 120 individual pieces, which we can accumulate pretty quickly, and just serving because I really wanted to bless Jessica and I desired to benefit her and to help to break down some of the work and the chores that she typically takes on herself. And so that's what service means to me and how I walk it out.
Well, the scripture 31:12 says, and maybe you'll be able to see how I got service out of this scripture, it says, she does him good and not evil all the days of their life. So, as we've talked about before, Proverbs 31, in my opinion, from my understanding, isn't just a woman-only profile of a human being, because even Christ himself calls us all to be brides. Mm-hmm. I mean, even including men. So we can interpret it as loosely as we want, or we can be as literal as we want. I believe when I read Proverbs 31, it's talking about wisdom, because wisdom is spoken of in the female, or as a female article. Mm-hmm. And so when it says she, it can mean anyone. And so it says, she does him good all the days of her life. And that, to me, is the portrait of a servant-hearted human being that will do somebody good all the days of their life, totally focused on doing good. I used in my book, because this is actually day number 3 in the 22-day challenge, I used in my book the example of, remember when we were reading, I think it was Self-Love by Robert Schuller, how it talked about the man who was a gardener. He was a gardener. Remember, he said he was walking, Robert Schuller, the preacher, the famous preacher, was walking his grounds, and he ran into a little Hispanic gardener that had been working there, and he talked with him, and he got started talking with him, and he said that his daughter wanted to study piano, and that she was very talented, naturally talented as a little girl. That's what the gardener said. But he didn't make very much money. But he decided that he would take it upon himself to invest everything that he could into his daughter and his daughter's talents. Yeah. And so he got her.
Working man.
That when she asked him, "Are you sure that you want to do this, Dad?" and he said, "I'm a working man. I'm going to do it." So through the investment in his daughter and paying for her to take all these private piano lessons, she ended up becoming voted I just wrote it down, most talented piano player of her grade in the entire Los Angeles area. That's right. That, to me, a lot of service and service to others is just putting on the mindset that I'm going to do good for other people regardless of what I get out of it, and I'm going to understand the law of sowing and reaping that's involved in servitude, that if I give, that it's ultimately up to God to take control of what I get back, and I'm just going to let go of thinking what am I going to get in return and just start doing good to, like the scripture says, doing them good all the days of your life. That you're going to make it a lifelong goal and mission that you there's some weird noise going on outside.
Interesting fire alarm going
That you're
off
going to
in our
make a
neighbor's house.
lifelong goal
Nice.
and mission to serve your fellow human being, to add value to society. And what have you learned through business? I mean, you've taken a company public before, you're working in another startup, you're playing professional golf on this side. What have you learned about adding value to others as far as being a servant-hearted individual?
Well, first of all, I've learned that when the focus is to get compensation, typically you're going to have a hard time because you're going to be at cross purposes because everybody's selfish. So if you're trying to take and extract value from a specific situation and someone else is trying to take from a specific situation, then it's going to be the lesser of two evils, right? You're going to have 1 + 1 is going to be 1 because somebody's always trying to get one up over on the other. But when I was at Perfigo, my goal was to add value and to make a contribution and really to let God take care of the compensation side. And it was a sincere, earnest desire to add value and to make a contribution. And I remember with that one slight attitudinal change, we had a pretty large increase in income percentage-wise, and we're able to pretty much not have to worry about finances again after that about a 10-month period.
Well, we might have had financial stumbling blocks or whatever, but our thinking had permanently
the
become
thinking
changed.
had permanently changed, and then we also realized that God's going to balance the books.
Mm-hmm.
So if we stay focused on serving other people and adding value and going out doing our very best to leverage our talents to make a contribution, that the books will balance.
And the scripture says that the laborer is worthy of his wages.
The laborer is worthy of his wages, and Solomon also said in Ecclesiastes, whatsoever the hand finds to do, do it with all your might.
Yeah.
And there's another one that says, let him who stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, so that he has, and the implication of the sentence is so that he has abundance, so that he has to give to him who has need. In other words, so that he has extra that he's able to give and to make a contribution to someone's life over and above what might be right or just. And so one of the big things that we notice in Christian doctrine, different from any other doctrine, even some of our fellow Abrahamic covenant-minded folks like the Jews and the Catholics, is that the biggest difference with Christianity and even Buddhism and Taoism is that there's no such thing as fairness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? There's no such thing as fairness. It's just forgiveness and love and going out and doing. You go do the right thing. You go serve.
I stopped, as an example,
first.
I stopped years ago telling my kids that they needed to share. I'm not, we're very conservative people. We're very not into socialism or communism whatsoever. And we believe that the Lord is the scale balancer, and that when I tell my children to share, you need to share, you need to share, you need to share, what I'm teaching them is what's yours needs to be readily available for everybody else, and you need to get used to people coming and taking from you and you being okay with that. I don't believe that that's correct. I teach my children, you need to serve. You need to serve. I've replaced any time where I come into my thinking of sharing as service. I'm ingraining them from very young, saying, okay, that, Washington wants your toy. You need to serve your brother. Do you love your brother? And they always go, yes, I love them. So I say, if you love them, then you serve your brother. And
That's
so
right.
they're learning at an early age, we need to serve. We need to be servant-hearted, because somebody coming and taking what's rightfully mine away from me, that's not okay. But if they can't take it from me if I voluntarily give it away.
That's right.
So anyways, we love you guys. Happy Tuesday night.
Happy Easter
If you're
week.
going to think of anything this week with Christ and what he did for us and the service that he performed, think maybe on this next week of how you can serve others and take it to the next level. And then let us know what happens. If you start changing in your job, you're going to serve your boss anyway, and let God bless you in return. Let us know. Love you guys. Bye.
Have a great night.
Thanks.